Business software is out of control, so I'm going to do something about it. And the incredible thing is, this is something you need absolutely zero coding knowledge to do. So in this video, you're going to watch me replace 4 of the most popular business apps to show you how much software has fundamentally changed. And if you're ready to actually build your own custom software, even if you've never built a single tool or application, stick around. So how did we get here? How did we end up with a dozen different subscriptions that all charge us per user per month? Every time you hire a new employee, your software bill goes up. The tools never do exactly what you need, so you're forced to change your process to fit the software. This creates software debt and operational chaos. You could try to have your IT or dev team build it, but let's be honest, their backlogs are huge and they'll never really have time to devote to building an internal app. Or you can hire expensive developers to build your own software to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars per year. But what if there was a third option? What if you, the person who actually knows what the business needs, could just build the software yourself? This is Zite. It's part of a new wave of AI app builders. You describe what you need in plain English, and the AI builds it for you. It comes with unlimited users, permissions, and a built-in database. Everything that you need to build your business apps. And to show you I'm not exaggerating, we're going to build replacements for 4 major software platforms right now. First up, project management. A tool like Asana is the backbone of many companies, but it can cost a fortune in per-seat licenses. Here's how we replace it. So when I first log in, I can see all of the different projects that I have that I'm working on, and we can configure which columns we want to show and reorder that. And I can also click into my tasks. And this is something I think is pretty key. All of the best project management systems, be it Asana or Monday or ClickUp, have this unified view where you can see your tasks anywhere across the entire system. So here, even though I have multiple different boards, I can simply check off a task and that's going to update it wherever it's at. Let's dive into this content calendar project. And here you can see I have a list of all my different tasks. We have these different sections we can group them into, so we can collapse these if we need to. We can create new custom sections. We can drill into a task and see all of the details over here. If we're working collaboratively with a team, we'll want to be able to @mention our colleagues and leave comments for them. We can drag tasks around in different orders. We can reassign tasks to different people on the team, and really all the standard type functionality that you'd have in a project management system. Now, a lot of these project management tools have kind of evolved into work management, meaning you have different views and different ways of interacting with your team. That's not just traditional project management. So for example, we have different views, like here's a board view. And so we can simply just drag and drop between the different statuses to move them along the pipeline. And again, this is all tailored to your needs. So for example, for me, I might want this on the cards to actually preview a YouTube video because I do a lot of YouTube type content. And so I could do that instead of just showing the text. And let's take a look at a timeline. We could look at all of our different tasks based on when the date ranges are. We could have this over a day or a week or a month. We could change the coloration. So instead of just blue for all of these, we could have this go by our task type, or maybe we want to have it by our custom sections so we can color this in different ways. Same thing if we want to see this on a calendar. We can view all of the different pieces of content. We can click to open them up. We can change that coloration. We can filter them different ways. And so this whole Asana-esque project management system was really just built with a handful of prompts. Now I'll show you a little bit more about how we prompt, but first, let's take a look at some other apps. Salesforce is the 800-pound gorilla of CRMs. It's incredibly powerful, but it's also famously complex and expensive. Let's build our own version that does exactly what we need and nothing we don't. So here I am on my opportunities. I've got my different cards for my deals or opportunities. I can move these around on a Kanban. I've got my list of them over here. I can click to drill into one of my opportunities. Up at the top, we can easily see what stage we're in. I like this 3-column interface myself personally, where we can see details about the opportunity. We could add what fields we want, but we don't need to show extra ones that we're really not interested in. In the middle, here's where we've got our activities, and we can track activities. Now we can do this manually. We can log activities and choose the different type and log it for the date that's pre-populated. That's an easy way to do it, but it's even easier if you want to connect your database to your actual tooling. Now we can do that with Zapier or Make or N8N to be able to have all of that information flow into our system because there's an API that Zite has where you can push all that information in. And coming in the future, it's going to have a lot of additional integrations as well. But again, we can choose specifically the kinds of information we want showing. For example, maybe I only want to see my meetings and we can filter down those activities. And then over here on the right-hand side, we can drill into our related records like our account account or contact. Now, of course, this is a very simplified version of a CRM. If you want to have things like opportunity line items and proposal generation, we can do all of those things too, but it's just nice to know that you don't have to have this super complex, cumbersome piece of software in order to manage your sales pipeline. Now, the other important thing I want to show you is this dashboard. So one of the things that a lot of other CRM systems can't do is measure things that happen over time. And so here we've got pipeline velocity. If you run a sales team, you need to know where the bottlenecks are in the process. So for example, with our process, we can see qualification. That happens in less than a day, so that's not a problem for us. But something like generating a proposal looks like it takes 15 days on average. That's because it's actually looking at, as those opportunities or deals move through the pipeline, how long does that take? And so being able to have this more advanced, powerful database where we can track the movement of that data over time is really important. And then on the right-hand side, you can see we have this pipeline by revenue. Now, what's unique about this is a lot of the time when you're measuring pipeline, you think about this perfect upside down funnel and you've got, a qualification up at the top and then it gets smaller for each stage. But the reality, especially for an organization that has a lot of deals trapped in the proposal stage, is that you're going to have more revenue trapped there as well. And so this provides a visual indicator rather than just having one standard funnel, we can see exactly where that revenue is at. So imagine having a CRM where you don't need all of those additional complexities from a tool like Salesforce. However, you can still answer those more complicated questions about your sales funnel. Now, before I show you this next one, I want to mention that Zite already has a generous free plan available so you can get started right away. But for a limited time, if you click the link in the description below, you'll get 50% extra tokens on sign up, which can be super helpful as you're getting started. All right, let's move from external processes to internal knowledge. Every company needs a central place for information, and Notion has become the go-to for building beautiful internal wikis. Okay, so I don't know about you, but I've been a long-term user of Notion, and I love the very aesthetic experience. It's easy to create documents and edit my notes and link it between things. But lately, they've been adding on a lot of additional functionality like their AI agents, and oftentimes that's overkill for the kinds of projects I'm working on. So if you've ever wanted this kind of stripped down experience that's really nice for editing without all of the other bells and whistles, that's exactly what we're doing here. So for example, I have this document, we can change our icon up here. I didn't bake in the nice header images, but we could do that too. The big thing I was really looking for was the ability to insert my own blocks. So if I click into my text and I press that backslash, here's where I can see all of these different blocks. Now for me, I've really slimmed this down because I really only care about the different text blocks. But again, with the power of Zite, you can craft whatever kinds of blocks you want to have in your own editor. And it's really helpful for me to connect to other pages. So let's say I want to create a sub page. This is going to create a page and it's going to link it. You can see it created it over here. So if I click into this, we could give this a name. So we could call this Zite users and we could change that icon and we could add a bunch of text and everything else. And now we've got this nice linked structure where we've got our sub pages, it's linked, we can open it up and see all of that content. Or maybe I just want to mention an existing page so I can put in the @ symbol and link to a document that I already have. So I think the beauty of this is that it's kept really simple. You don't need all of those extra features that you might not use if you're really just trying to create internal wikis and documentation. And I just want to show you my backend database for a second here because I didn't really tell it how to construct all of these blocks. I just said, hey, I want something like Notion. I want to create these blocks. And I wasn't sure how it would design it, but it really did it with only a single table with pages. And then all of my content and all of the blocks are just stored as JSON. So again, you don't have to have any kind of technical knowledge for this. You don't have to know what JSON is, aside from we're just storing some structured data here because it's designing this for you on the front end simply by prompting it. Last one, and this is a big one that people assume requires highly specialized, expensive software, business intelligence and analytics. A tool like Looker can be confusing from a licensing perspective. It can be really slow to load if you have a lot of data, and it can be complicated to set up the exact reports that you want. So here's the deal. Business analytics is way more complicated than it should be. But with all of these kind of no-code tools that are out there, it's really limited to actually visualize data in the way that you want. So for example, you could have a bar chart and you could have a pie chart. But if you want to actually layer multiple data sets together, it's a huge pain in the butt. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's say we're measuring revenue and I want to be able to see how we're actually performing. So that's the blue line over time. But then we want to measure a target against it or an average against it or some other kind of data. Well, that's something that would be super hacky in a lot of no-code tools. But here we can simply do this by adding multiple lines on top of it. Another thing, what if you want to slightly tweak the data? We want to see this against a target, but I also want to know how we're performing year over year. And now oftentimes, if you're going to use another tool, you'd have to create two charts. First, show me against the target, and then show me against last year. But here we can do this and simply toggle between those in a single chart. Now this pie chart over here, fine by itself to look at our customer health, but hey, when we hover over it, now we can see the actual customers that make this up. We can click into that actual data set to be able to view customer information. And so it's so much more powerful than just having this static data. Now, if you're a business owner, you probably know this pain. It's one thing if you have a really small data set, sure, toss a dashboard, use Looker, use something on top of it for a small data set. But what happens when you start to get bigger and bigger data sets? You have a ton of customers and invoices and all this other customer information that you need, and suddenly that performance just grinds to a halt. So one of the things I do behind the scenes is create these aggregate functions. Again, just using AI, I'm telling it to crunch all of my data ahead of time. And then when I load my dashboard, all of the visualizations happen super quickly because it's not depending on all that number crunching in the background. So dashboards can be as simple or as complex as you need them to be, but most small businesses don't need a data warehouse. And on the other hand, you're really not getting the full value if you're just using something like Excel. So let's jump in and see how we actually start building with Zite. So these days, I really prefer dictating with my voice as opposed to typing. So I can do that here. Let's create a B2B CRM similar to Salesforce or HubSpot. Now there's some builders who go to ChatGPT or Claude and construct really complex prompts. But I'm going to show you why you don't necessarily need to do that in just a moment. Now, if you have an idea of what you want your app to look like, you can upload an image. Some people have been using Google Sheets or Airtable, and so you already have an existing data source that you want to connect and actually create that app from. We can easily change what theme is applied by default. And it's okay, you don't have to decide this right here. We can always change that later. And then here I can decide if I want this to be an internal app, one that isn't on the web that only people on my team have access to, or if I want to share this with users on the web as well. And they can authenticate too. It doesn't have to be totally public, but you've got really these combinations of totally public apps. You've got some that are open to some people, and then you've got completely internal. Now, the first thing that I like to do, instead of just building this because I'm not giving it a ton of details, is to go ahead and do this planet mode. So the first thing that's going to happen is that plan is going to ask us questions that it needs answers to. So for example, what modules do we want? Yeah, I think contacts, companies, definitely. Deals, we want to have that nice pipeline, but I do want to have tasks too. Now I could do dashboards with analytics, and I probably will in the future, but for now, I think this is a good way to start. We'll keep this for our internal team. I personally like a Kanban and a table for my deals, so let's do both. And let's work on this with our team. And here we go. Now we've got a plan that's created for us based on the answers that we gave to it as well. So it's telling us what the scope is up top. It walks through our access, the different pages and features that it's creating. We can get pretty granular here with the database schema that it's going to create for us with all the different field names. And so this might get a little bit technical, and I wouldn't really worry too much about it. Most of the time, I can just go ahead and approve the plan because we're always going to be able to make changes later. But if we do need to make changes, we can just click into our document and make any changes that we need before we actually approve the plan as well. So this looks good to start. Let's build our plan. Now we can set up our authentication, who can access this with just a click of a button. And then it's going to show us all the different tables and fields that it's going to create. If we need to make any changes, we can do that. And this is a good thing that it's asking for a manual approval, because in some other systems, you might just mess everything up with the AI and it'll just blow away your database. And so here we just simply see the kinds of fields, the kinds of tables that we're creating, and then we can give it permission. And so here we have the first iteration of our app. It's created this side navigation. We've got a dashboard. Let's click into our deals and take a look at this. Yeah, so we've got a nice Kanban over here. We've got a table, so we can take a look at our opportunities that way. We can edit one of our opportunities. Now, I'm not sure if I love this so much that it's in this modal and that I have to press this edit icon. So these would be perfect things that we could add as additional features, give some more descriptive feedback. And then one of the things we can do is we can also use this chat mode. So if I have questions about how my app works or the information in the database, this is when I like to use chat. And in addition to creating this app interface, it also has created all of the different workflows, and it did this all with a single prompt. So all of the backend logic to communicate with our database. Then we've got our database, which has our users and our companies and contacts and all that information. We can easily add new fields or filters if we want to. And then when this all looks good, we've made any changes we need to, that's when we can then publish this. And in our case, we're going to publish this internally. And here we could give it a custom domain if we wanted to. And then our users will be able to access this internal tool by logging in and they'll get access to our CRM. There's always been this discussion in software about build versus buy, whether it makes more sense to purchase an off-the-shelf software solution or build it internally. But building software was always reserved for the larger companies, the ones that could devote hundreds of thousands of dollars to development costs and manage personnel within their company or by hiring an external agency. But that's shifted because now business subject matter experts can dictate to AI how exactly they need the software to function, which also means that now you can have software that's truly tailored to you. So look, the way we actually interact with software and implement it is changing and fast. And the businesses that thrive in the next 5 years will be the ones that learn how to leverage technology that works for their specific business needs rather than shelling out thousands of dollars to 20 different software vendors. So if you want to get started, I've put that link to Zite down in the description below. But if you want to go deeper down the rabbit hole and learn more, click the video on the screen to watch the next video to learn more about what you can do with this software. I'll see you over there.